Hey, happy day, friends. I'm just doing this live. So there's a chance that some people might hop on while I'm doing this, and there's a chance that it might just be you listening to me and me explaining all the different behavior resources while we're doing this. But I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. So if you're watching this video, it means that you have purchased my behavior bundle and you have access to all of the resources so far that have been posted. The good news about this bundle is that it's a growing bundle, which means that since you already bought it, you're going to get access to everything that's continually added to it without having to pay for any of those resources, which is so amazing. Right now, you have access to behavior charts, token charts, sticker charts, and punch cards. I am only going to be going over those 4 things today, how I use them, at what point we decide to start using those things, and then how I introduce it and implement it to students and in the classroom, okay? There's going to be a lot of really awesome things coming to this behavior bundle. Leveling systems will be posted soon, detailed point sheets, there'll be transition cards, there will be first then charts, tons of additional things. If there's specific things that you'd like to see, make sure to comment or send me a DM on Instagram so I know which things you'd like to see. I also have a post on Instagram talking about my behavior bundle where I kind of preview all of the things that are to come. Those things should all be available to you before the 2023 year. So as long as you are watching this now, you should have it before the 2023 year. If you're watching this in 2023, then you're going to have access to more things than just these. When new things come out, I will be doing more lives and free webinars for everybody to have access to. So just know that will continually come out. When this video is done, it will be recorded and it'll be uploaded in the Google Drive for you guys to access. So as long as you have the Growing Bundle access link in Google Drive, you will always have access to these videos to watch. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I forgot my water, so I have to get up and get that later. We shall see. Also, let me just show you this really quick. I'm not editing any of this. This is just going to be authentic real life content. This is my cat Luna, and she likes to sit near me at all times. So there's that. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to hop right in and I'm going to share my screen so you can kind of see what we're going to talk about. Before jumping in, kind of my like general progression of how I decide when to introduce behavior type charts or token charts or things like that is after we have already exhausted some simpler things within the classroom, right? So you might be saying, okay, what does that look like? If you notice a student is struggling to do the basic tasks throughout the day, there's little things that you can do. 30-second interventions work great. So just pulling the student aside, talking to them about it, and getting them back to where they need to be. Other things that you can kind of try are having a check-in in the morning and afternoon. That way you can check in with the student, let them know, you know, this is what your expectations are for the day, and you can check in with them at the end of the day. Sometimes those simple things, they're short, there isn't much to fill out for you as a teacher, and they help hold the student accountable and get them back on track. So those are kind of really good starting points. Other things to consider and other things that I've tried. This year, I'm using whole brain teaching with my classroom, and that's been fantastic. It's kind of a classroom management strategy and behavioral resource for disruptive students as well. So I would say that is something that I have been using and really liking. Side note, my collar is bothering me, so I'm going to change it. Let me think what else I really like to do that are quick interventions. If you have kiddos that struggle to continually get their work done, or they get frustrated and have a hard time coming back to the classroom, get frustrated and have a hard time coming back to the task, I should say, because all these kids are, for the most part, in the classroom. Other things you can try are having a calm down space that student can go, okay? If you're going to have a calm down space, I always recommend clearly identifying when you go there, how long you're there for, and what the expectation is when you come back. Generally, what I say is for teachers, have sort of fidget in that area. Make sure the student is aware of where that area is. Have the student practice going to that area when they're regulated, and then have some sort of like stand timer or timer there to make sure the student isn't staying there for like 10 minutes. But having a calm down space is another really great little intervention that you can try, okay? Once you've tried these things and you've exhausted those options and you're like, man, this student is just really having a hard time following directions the first time, having safe hands and feet, getting their work done, whatever it is, that's when I start considering maybe using a chart or some sort of token board or something of the sort. I think behavior charts and token boards require more time and effort for you as a teacher to be able to follow through with and implement. So just know that. With that being said, since that requires more time and effort, that is kind of like the last place that I go when I'm picking out what kind of chart or intervention I might want to use to best support students. I always think really good places to start are sticker charts or punch cards, because you can figure out whatever it is that motivates the student and use those periodically throughout. Now, here is the thing, because there's always pushback against this. Yes, sometimes when we start introducing some sort of behavior plan or behavior support, we choose an incentive for the student to be able to earn, or it's a reward system for the student to be able to earn. Some people will say, oh, we shouldn't have to give kids prizes or toys or breaks or stickers or anything to get them to want to do work. Here's the issue. Very few people are actually intrinsically motivated. Most people are extrinsically motivated. They want the things that they want, right? Like, I go to work, right? Yes, I love my job, but like, I am also extrinsically motivated to get money so I can buy the things that I want, right? That's just how we are as humans. And so finding something that motivates the student and that the student wants is a really good place to start. Now, when you find something that extrinsically motivates a student, it's something they would like to do, whether it's iPad time, rest time, walking with an adult, getting to do a special job, getting a special note home, getting a sticker, getting to color for 5 minutes, whatever it is, whatever the student is most motivated by, I would say sit down with the student and kind of figure out what that is. That's what you're going to use as the incentive for whatever behavior system that you are choosing. The thing to remember is the goal is always to incentivize the student to eventually become intrinsically motivated. So it might start as extrinsic motivation because they don't care about anything else other than their iPad time or their computer time or their note home or whatever it is. But it can turn to intrinsic motivation once they start actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. After they start to notice, hey, I've kind of changed as a student. Some students really start to buy into that and they're like, wow, I'm doing good. Another thing you can do as a teacher or a paraprofessional or as a parent is to really, really praise them and show how proud of them you are for little things that they're doing that go along with their chart. So if a student, the goal is to have them following along the first time and they follow along the first time, you better be so excited and so ready to praise that student. Wow, Tommy, this is the first time you ever lined up right away when I said it. Oh my gosh, you are getting a punch right here. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to see when you do it again. Okay. So being excited and showing them, yes, they're getting something extrinsically, right? Because you're filling out their punch card or whatever it is, but you're showing them how proud you are as a person, and they will kind of get excited about that within themselves too. And eventually it becomes something they want to do for that. Okay. So once you know what a student becomes motivated by, and some people will say, students aren't motivated by anything. I have this one student that doesn't care about anything. I promise you, there's always one thing that students are motivated by. And so my pro tip is sit down with them, ask them what they like to read, ask them what they like to play. Yes, I'm still here. I just got a message saying if I'm still here, and I am still here. So there's that. Ask them what they like to eat. Ask them what their favorite movie is, what their favorite book is, whatever it is. Think of all the things. Ask them what video games they play. There's always something that can motivate a student. Maybe it's printing a picture off of a Roblox character. Maybe it's printing off a picture of some other video game that they're playing. Maybe it's getting a Minecraft activity book, which I found on Amazon that are great because there's tons of activity pages and kids love them. There's so many different things that kids like. You just have to take the time to figure it out. And sometimes when I am talking with students about all of this, I just sit down with them and I say, hey, you work so hard at school every day, but when you work extra hard and you're really doing what you're supposed to, I think you should earn something. I think you deserve to earn something because you've worked so hard. What are things that you really like? Like, what would be special to you to earn? And kind of talk through it then. Make a list of ideas, and then you can kind of either put it on a list. You can make a visual with the images of things that they could potentially earn and just kind of go from there. So, rule of thumb, figure out what motivates the students. Once you figure that out, that is going to be how you're going to tie it into your behavior chart, token chart, whatever it is. Like I said, the very first things I would consider implementing are sticker charts or punch cards because they're quick and easy to implement. They require hardly any time for you as a teacher. They're entirely ready to go. You don't have to do anything on there. You just have to print them and you are good to go. I like to print my punch cards that you have access to in the behavior bundle on colored cardstock because I just think it looks cuter. It's more sturdy when you're like punching it with your hole puncher. And then I also like to do the sticker charts on just like white cardstock because it holds up better when you're doing stickers frequently. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull these up so you can see that. Please hold. So let's start by looking at the sticker chart. The sticker chart is nice because it's broad. You could do it for anything. You could do it for following a task the first time. You could do it for things that they're just doing well right away. You could do it for being a good listener. You don't have to identify it as clearly as you might for some of your other charts. Okay. So I wonder if I can go like this. Okay, here you go. So here are some examples of sticker charts. I would say whenever you start something, you don't want to start too small, but you don't want to start too big. So I'd kind of go right in between. Maybe 9 would be a good place to start. Sticker charts are fun because you don't have to give a sticker many times throughout the day. Maybe it's 1 sticker a day. Maybe if the student works hard up until recess, they get a sticker. And maybe if they work hard after recess until the end of the day, they get another sticker. Then whenever they fill up their entire sticker chart, then they get the reward or the incentive that they have been working so hard for. What I would do with these specific sticker charts is right at the bottom where there's this open space right down here. I would just go ahead and write whatever the student's working for. Maybe it's iPad time. Maybe it's a note home. Maybe it's a sticker chart home. Maybe it's a picture that gets sent to mom or dad. Whatever it is, I would clearly identify at the bottom of the sticker chart whatever they're working for, and then I would remind them of that as they're working throughout the day. Now, if this is something where the student needs something that's a little bit more reinforcing, go ahead and do a larger token or a larger sticker chart because then you can give them 2 or 3 stickers a day or 4 or 5 stickers a day, but they will still have to work for it a little bit longer since there's more on there. If a student needs more check-ins throughout the day just because they need those constant reminders and constant redirection, a sticker chart with more spots is probably a better option just so you can be more present and what's the word I'm looking for? Just being more present and intentional about constantly redirecting them to hopefully get them to be doing the right thing, right? Maybe they struggle with transitions. So maybe you give them a sticker every time they transition from one thing to the next within a minute or one thing to the next if they are transition with everybody else. Okay, let's see here. So that's sticker charts. I was going to say something else, but the other thing that I would do with sticker charts is when you're doing stickers, when you're going to be putting stickers on your sticker chart, I would make sure that you are intentional about telling the student, oh my goodness, you worked so hard this morning, you're going to get a sticker. If you keep working hard by the end of the day, you're going to get another sticker. I can feel it. Or maybe it's, why don't you pick out your sticker to put on the sticker chart because you worked so hard in reading? Why don't you pick out a sticker to put on your sticker chart because you walked so nicely in the hallway? Whatever it is, whatever you're choosing to incentivize the student with, it can be broad, it can be more simple. That's the nice thing with sticker charts is that you have a little bit of flexibility with that. Okay, I'm going to stop presenting and now I'm going to swap over. Now we're going to talk about punch cards. Punch cards I generally use for a more specific behavior that you want to target. So I'm going to explain that, but I want to share this so you can kind of see it. please hold. Okay. And let's change this. Let's make sure you can see this. Okay, great. So when you look at these sticker charts, you'll notice, or not sticker charts, sorry. When you look at these punch cards, these are the ones that I print on colored cardstock just because I think it makes them more fun. You can get a little bit more buy-in with students because you're like, oh my gosh, what color punch card do you want? Which one? Oh my gosh, do you want the stars? Do you want the hearts? Do you want it with a girl or a boy? Do you want it on blue or pink or whatever? So many different options with it, which makes it really, really nice. Now, these are all used to help target an explicit behavior. Maybe it's following directions the first time. Maybe it's walking nicely in the hallway. Maybe it's using my break space when I needed to. A lot of times, students look at having to take a break as a negative thing. So sometimes if a student's frustrated, you could say something along the lines of, oh, whenever you're frustrated or you're upset or you're having a hard time thinking, if you go to your break space and take a 5-minute break and come back to class, you're going to get a punch. Just for knowing that you're frustrated and you take a break, you're going to get a punch. So giving students an incentive to take the break that's going to help regulate them better can be really beneficial in the long run. If you have a student that's reluctant to get their work done, working on completing work is important. Sometimes it will be a small task. Maybe it's completing one whole work. Maybe it's sitting through carpet time. Maybe it's completing half of their work. Maybe it's completing the top part of their work. Remember, this is all going to be student-based. And a lot of times, if you have gotten to the point where you're implementing a behavior plan, it probably means that the student is really not getting the work done or complying in the way that they should. And so it's okay to reward them and incentivize them more frequently to get them to buy in and realize that they can do this. I participated in class appropriately would be other options. I transitioned from one task to the next quickly. Maybe you set a time limit. Maybe they have to transition within a minute. Maybe they have to transition within 2 minutes. Whatever it is, you can clearly identify that. I got started on my work right away. Maybe the student really pushes back and just doesn't want to get started on morning work, get started on math. Let's say that student, when you say, okay, if you could start on your work right away, that means if you write your name on your paper and you get number 1 done and I walk by and I didn't have to tell you, you're going to get a punch. That will help you in the long run because the student is learning how to get themselves on track enough to get started. Generally, if kids get started, they can push through and keep working on it. I use my words appropriately. That's just using appropriate language, no matter the setting. I kept my hands and feet to myself. This can be great for transitions. This can be great for hallway time, recess, gym, more of those unstructured times, morning meeting, carpet time. I did my work independently. That's another great one. Just because sometimes kids so easily rely on adults and wanting to ask questions. So if a student's sitting there and trying to work, even if it's not right, you know what? I notice that you're working all by yourself and I know you'll raise your hand if you have a question. You're going to get a punch because you're working all by yourself. We want to foster those skills that will help them be more productive as a human and a student and a person to help them be more successful. And these are skills that will help them be more successful. I made a superstar choice. I made an awesome choice. This one's a little bit more broad. And that's what I have for punch cards. So quick and easy. There's a ton of different options. The nice part about these is that if you're having a hard time kind of figuring out where you even want to start, these are all ready for you. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. The other thing that I always try to remember, because sometimes I sit in meetings and teachers will say, I just don't know where to start. This student is disruptive all day long. And literally, they have so many things that they need to work on. I always say, if there is one thing that you could target that could make your life so much easier, only one thing, what would it be? That's the thing that you should target with the behavior plan that you're going to be utilizing. The one thing that's going to make the biggest difference. Now, if Jimmy pushes, screams, rips up his paper, runs out the door, won't do his work, eats too many snacks, you can't target all of those at one time. So you'd want to start with the things that would be most unsafe for Jimmy and peers, okay? So let's say Jimmy tries to elope when he's frustrated and Jimmy doesn't want to complete work. The first thing you would target is the eloping. So maybe for that, rather than eloping, if Jimmy makes it to his calm down space rather than eloping, he's going to get a punch card. That would be the first thing that I would target, because that's the thing that's going to keep him safe. After you can target what he can do when he's frustrated, I know that when you're frustrated and you need to run, you can run as long as you make it to your safe spot, as long as you make it to your calm down spot. If you can get that under control, then you can work on the work completion part of it. But you kind of got to tackle one thing at a time. Otherwise, you're tackling way too many things and the student doesn't really know what they're focusing on, if that makes sense. Okay, next thing we are going to talk about is behavior charts. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, so let's do this so you can look at it. Oops. Okay, so the nice part about these behavior charts is I include how to even get started. So there's a ton of different charts in here. My rule of thumb with behavior charts, just because they take a little bit more time for the teacher, is to just remember that less is more. So if you don't feel like a student needs constant monitoring throughout the day, or they haven't shown that they need constant monitoring, or maybe you've never done something like this, so you don't actually know if they need the constant monitoring, maybe they just need a few times a day, I'd say start smaller, because you can always increase more time. For a teacher who's doing a lot of different things, whether you're a behavior teacher, a special education teacher, a general education teacher, music teacher, or whatever, you're busy. You have a ton of things going on. So if you can monitor students and help them stay on track with less, it's always going to be better. Less is more. So that's how I start. Smaller, less is more. I like to involve students in the process of picking out their behavior chart. So if a student is picking out, let's say you're going to start a sticker chart, let them pick out which one they want. If you're going to pick out a punch card, let them pick out the color that they want. If you're going to do a behavior chart, let them pick, do they want smileys? Do they want plus or minus? Do they want stars? When a student has more buy-in, you're going to get more success from them, right? So when the student feels like they had some control over their plan, you're going to see more success. Like I said, how do you choose a goal to target? Think about what is the one thing that would make the biggest difference if that student could get it under control, whatever it is. Eloping, work completion, safe hands, safe feet, swearing. Identify that, and that's what you're going to focus on first. Now, with these behavior charts, there is a choice to focus on two different things. So you could focus on one goal and another goal. But I would say rule of thumb, start with one. If you think you can handle two, go ahead and do two. But I kind of always start with one. How to write the goal. When I write the goal, I just make sure that it's clear and concise so the student understands it. You also want to review that with the student when you are looking at their chart every day. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, we came in and we got started. Let's look. I think you earned a smiley face for the morning because you got started on your morning work right away. You know what? You got all 3 smileys for the morning. Don't you agree? Okay. Tell me, how do we earn our smiley faces? Oh, we learn it when we make safe action, or we earn it when we make safe actions throughout the day. So that means if you make safe actions all throughout the day, you are going to get your smileys. Okay. So I would make sure that you talk about it at the beginning. It's just a check-in can be so powerful. How to score the goal. The goal is something that can be more subjective for students, but it can also be something that is effective for collecting data. So for example, if you're going to use this for data collection, which chances are you will because you want to be able to progress monitor and see how the student is doing, I would clearly identify each thing that they could earn. So for example, if you're doing a smiley face chart and there's 3 smileys that they can earn total, maybe it's 3 smiley faces equals I have safe actions the entire time. 2 equals I had 1 unsafe action, but I got back on track. 1 smiley face would be I had more than 1 unsafe actions, but I got back on track. And 0 would be I had more than 1 unsafe action and I did not get myself back on track. Okay, so identifying those, so then it's the behavior plan and not you making the decision. A lot of times what I find for paraprofessionals or teachers is that when you say, oh, you got 3 smileys because I said so, that makes it seem like you are targeting them. When you clearly identify it and you say, oh, your plan says this, so this is what you earned, you remove yourself from the equation and it's in the plan. That's how it goes. How to use the information from behavior charts. This is a really great way to track how they're doing overall, especially if you're targeting a goal. Maybe the goal that you're targeting is something that's actually in their IEP. Really easy to progress monitor. You can find ways to track it based on, oh, they earned 39 smileys out of 39 smileys. Maybe it's something like they earned 100% of the smileys for the day. Maybe you just figure out the percentage. Doesn't matter. Whatever works for you, you do it. Where do you start with rewards? Always start by asking the student, which we talked about a little bit earlier. The second page is also included, I can earn. A lot of times I will allow students to earn more than one reward choice, right? Because you don't always want behavior charts to be like yes or no. Sometimes they can be yes or no. When I say yes or no, I mean, okay, if you earn this many points, then you get a break. If you don't earn those points, you don't get a break. What I do for a lot of my students is, if you earn this many smiley faces, you get a 10-minute break. If you earn this many smiley faces, you get a 5-minute break. If you earn this many smiley faces, you get a 2-minute walk. Okay, so they still get something. So it's not an all or nothing, but the reward isn't as preferred if they don't earn all of their smileys. Once again, you could do just one reward. It kind of depends on the student. I personally like to have like a reward choice 1, reward choice 2, reward choice 3, and I kind of prioritize what goes in each one. So maybe I'd have iPad access for a break for reward choice 1. Maybe I'd have a drawing or book to read for reward choice 2. And maybe for reward choice 3, it would just be a quick walk with an adult. So it's all going to depend on the student, but that's why I lay things out the way I do. Okay, now looking at actual behavior charts. Here are some examples. Where it says class, that's where you're going to put the time or the subject that's covered. Here, all you would do is circle smiley face or frowny face. Some kids really don't like seeing frowny faces, so it's going to depend on the student for this. Some kids like seeing the frowny face because it helps them realize how they're doing, and it's not something that they're triggered by. You'll make sure that you write the goal that they're working on. I will follow directions the first time, right up at the top, and that is where the student is constantly going to see it. So now when I say where to start right away, I think if I were starting off with a student who had never had a behavior chart, I'd probably either start with before. Maybe it's before lunch, after lunch, before recess, after recess. Maybe it's early morning, mid-morning, after lunch, late afternoon, or something. Whatever you want to identify them as. You could just do morning and afternoon if you prefer. If you feel like the student needs more monitoring, go ahead and jump on in and do more check-ins throughout the day. Just like I said, more check-ins means a little bit more time and effort for you. That's not always a bad thing. A lot of times it can help a student, but sometimes less is more. There's plus minus options for you to do. Some that have colors. Some students really prefer seeing the colors because it just helps them kind of identify where they're at. I've had students where they don't want frowny faces, so then we just do smiley faces. Oh, but what if a student doesn't deserve a smiley face? Then you just don't circle the smiley faces, or you could put an X through them because they didn't earn them for that chunk of time. For this, you would just count up the total number of smiley faces on there. Next step here is 3. You can do 2 smiley faces. You can do 3. It depends on how lenient you want to be with certain things and how you kind of want to track your data with that, or how you want to hold them accountable. So for example, if you want to give a student more chances in a chunk of time, I think having 3 smiley faces is probably a better option. We have stars, and we also have numbers. Now, if you're thinking that a student can handle doing 2 goals, this is what you would do here. Maybe one of them is, I will work on class activities, and maybe the other, or I will complete class activities, and then maybe the other one would be, I will have safe hands and feet. I don't know, whatever it is. Clearly identify those, and then once again, you're monitoring 2 goals instead of 1, so sometimes that can help hold a student a little bit more accountable, as long as you can continually monitor it and check in with them on those things. Okay, there's behavior charts. Next step, and the last one that we're gonna talk about, are token charts. Token charts are kind of the last thing that I do for students. So after trying punch cards, sticker charts, and behavior charts, I go to a token chart. Why do I wait for that till the end? Token charts, you have to be very consistent with if you want students to buy into it. And it's a little bit more time required for you as a teacher, and you do have to honor it immediately if you want it to work. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So now if you were working on making a token charts are awesome because you can get the ultimate buy-in from students. Students are excited to have their own token chart. It's laminated. On these token charts, just so you're aware, I did include tokens that you can use. I personally like to take stickers. So if students like Fortnite or Minecraft or Among Us or whatever, I order stickers. I stick the stickers on a laminating sheet, laminate the sheet, and then cut out the stickers and put Velcro on them. And I use those as tokens. So token charts have the ultimate buy-in because students get so much choice in them. They get to design their token chart. So for students that I work with, I let them pick the color that they want. I let them pick a picture that can go right here. So generally I'll be like, oh, what's your favorite? What should we put in your token chart? And students will be like, I want a cute kitty, or I want a Minecraft character, or I want Sonic, whatever it is. I Google the image. I don't include them in this bundle because copyright issues, you can't. But since this is editable, all you have to do is Google whatever image you want and place it right over here, and you're good to go. Then the student's name is on it. They have this picture on it. They already have buy-in because they picked the color, they picked the picture. It's their chart. They're so excited about it. Then I also let students pick out what tokens they want on their token chart. So like all of this buy-in, all of this created for the student, they're already excited about it. Now with token charts, I like to target whatever the behavior is that they need to focus on. Maybe it's safe hands and feet. Maybe if it's work completion, you would say, I can earn a token by working for 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes that they complete work, they get a token. Maybe it's a student that really isn't working on much work and is hardly doing anything right now. Then that might be, I can earn a token when I work for 5 minutes. If a student isn't completing any work throughout the day, let's just say they're completing 5 minutes of work total, it's okay if you give them a token every couple minutes and then they can earn a break because they're doing more work than they had in the past. I've had students where I said, if you work for 2 minutes, you're going to get a token. Yes, that means every, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 16 minutes, they would be getting a break. But that's more work than they had been doing the entire day because they knew they were working for something. The thing with the token chart is generally when kids earn all their tokens, they have to get the reward right away. And that's where token charts take more time and they take more energy because you have to be very consistent with giving them their tokens for whatever expectation they are expected to do. And then when they earn that reward, you have to let them know that they've earned it, they get it. So once kids get used to a token chart, and they are kind of back on track, it's not so important that they get that reward immediately. But when students are just getting used to a token chart, you need them to buy in entirely. And so as soon as they earn all their tokens, they have to get that reward. If it's a 10-minute iPad break, if it's a snack break, if it's a walk, if it's a special job, that means when they get all their tokens, they have to be able to do that. Now, if the student were to say, well, I want to make sure that I can go outside for recess, that's fine. Let them do recess. Once they finish recess, come in, take the break, and then go back to class, okay? But the important thing is they have to feel that reward and they have to buy into their plan. Otherwise, they will not, they will not like it and they will not be successful with it. For me, I have students that will start with 6 tokens. I'll have students that will start with 4 tokens. Now, eventually, when the student, progresses and gets better at whatever it is that they are working on, they grow in those skills and they're able to complete more work or whatever, 4 tokens or 6 tokens or 2 tokens might not be enough, and that's okay. What I do then as I say students graduated, I'll say, oh my gosh, you graduated, or we're going to the next level. It really means nothing other than we're going to design a whole new token chart and you've graduated. So these are the expectations now. For a lot of students, what I'll do then is I'll add a couple more tokens to their token chart because they graduated, right? So they're moving up. So there's higher expectations. So they're ready for third or fourth or fifth grade or second grade or whatever it is. But then students will allow you to do that because they're proud of themselves for growing and becoming better and graduating. So whenever I start with a smaller token chart and I increase tokens, that's how I do it. I say they graduated. I let them design an entirely new token chart. We pick out new pictures. Sometimes students will want to keep the same. Very rarely, though. Most times students want to pick a new color. They want to pick a new picture because they feel like this is something new and I get to design it. So they're very excited about it. Some of the things I'll do for how they can earn a token. I can earn a token by coming inside for recess. Sometimes I have students that are reluctant to come inside for recess. I can earn a token by walking nicely in the hallway. I can earn a token by keeping my hands and feet to self in the hallway. I can earn a token by sitting nicely for 5 minutes at the carpet. I can earn a token by completing 5 minutes of my work. I can earn a token by going to specials. Whatever it is, clearly identify it, include it at the bottom so they can see it and you can review it all the time. And then that's how they'll earn their tokens. So I hope that made sense. Down here, there is this page, and this is where you will put all of their choice options. Maybe it's a snack, maybe it is a break, maybe it's iPad time, Chromebook time, maybe it's a book, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's a running break, maybe it's a catch break, maybe it's playing Uno. I don't care. Whatever it is, whatever's going to motivate them, that is what you want to do. Okay. So I went over all 4 things that are currently in my behavior bundle. We talked about punch cards, we talked about sticker charts, behavior charts, and token charts. I am more than happy to go over any of those things or go more in depth or answer questions about any of those things. If you ever DM me, email me at especiallysped@gmail.com, whatever. I will happily help with any of those questions. Things to know. This video is available for you to watch whenever you would like. There will be more videos coming soon about leveling systems, which will be a lot more complex talk. Detailed point sheets, how I use transition cards, reminder cards, sensory boards, sensory breaks. I have like a sensory crawl chart, talking tickets, interruption cards, all of the things. And so I will kind of categorize them and put them together, and there'll be more videos coming out for you to view on how to successfully implement these things within your classroom, introduce them to students, and be able to keep data on all of these things and help your students be more successful in the long run. So, moral of the story, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for purchasing my behavior bundle. I appreciate it so much. I hope you have a great evening. Like I said, if you ever have any questions, you know where to find me on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, especially SPED. And I'm always happy to collaborate with you, answer any questions, and problem solve whatever might come your way. I hope you have a great rest of your evening or day or whatever time you're watching this. And I will see you at the next free webinar, which will be coming soon. So take care, everyone.